What's up, Giants fans? Not gonna keep the intro long because really need to get into this. The Giants finally make a move in free agency. I have no idea why they wait until I think it was like around 7 when the move was announced to do this. They had all day today and they say, you know what, let me wait until a little bit later. But they make a move. They sign former Panthers cornerback James Bradberry, a former Dave Gettleman pick back in 2016, and was widely regarded as the number 2 cornerback in this year's free agency class. Now, in the contract, 3 years, $45 million. That's $15 million a year. $32 million of the 45 is fully guaranteed, so it is a bit pricey. When the move was first announced, I tweeted out I'm not sure about the price, but then just like a couple minutes later, the price for Byron Jones was released, and it was something crazy. Can't remember it by head, but I remember comparing it to basically a pass rusher's price. That's how much Byron Jones got paid, and he definitely got overpaid. If James Bradberry got overpaid, Byron Jones got like super overpaid. But let's talk about the contract first a little bit, right? Out of context, yes, it is a bit much for a cornerback. $15 million a year. That's linebacker money. That's offensive tackle money. That's even, like I said, some lower end, mid-tier pass rusher money. For a cornerback like James Bradberry, he's really worth around like that $10 to $12 million range. But when you put it into context, that is, and I've said this since the new CBA and really for the past couple months now, the market for every single position is out of whack. Players are demanding extreme amounts of money, and the teams can't really do anything about it unless the NFL makes a move to actually stop it, put some type of cap on, how much players can be paid at certain positions. So, everybody's demanding extreme amounts of money. And then you put it into context, the fact that he is one of the top cornerbacks available in the class. The Giants need a veteran presence at that position, which they got with him. And the fact that the number 1 cornerback in the class got somewhere close to like $20 million a year, it's not that pricey when you look at it that way. He's definitely on a very fair contract. Kudos to Dave Gettleman. It's a very fair contract. It's only 3 years. You have the ability to get out after 2 years. So if this thing goes south, if James Bradberry comes in and he doesn't play like he did in Carolina, and when he played in Carolina, he was one of the most consistent cornerbacks out there. He's a good cornerback. He's not, he's not great. He's not elite, but he's good. He's very good. If he, for some reason, comes in, he declines, whatever the case is, for some reason he declines, well, it's only 2 years, to be honest with you. You could get out after the 3rd year because I think it's pretty much front-loaded. Now let's go over quickly, some James Bradberry things. He performs really well in man coverage. That's really where the Carolina Panthers used him. That's where he shined. He's a good tackler, and I've seen tweets out there about people saying he's a terrible tackler. Listen, by the Giants standards, this guy is better automatically than the other tackling we have available at the cornerback position, unless you consider Julian Love a tackler. When he actually gets up to speed with who he's chasing and he catches up to them, he's a good tackler, but he's at safety. Bradberry is a hard worker. Gettleman guy, like I said, came in the 2016 draft to replace Josh Norman, and since he came in the league, Bradberry has been one of the most consistent guys here. Let me pull up something real quick. Since 2016, he ranks, per PFF, for those of you that are PFF heads, he ranks 3rd amongst cornerbacks, just behind Casey Hayward and Darius Slay for tight window rate and, closing in on their targets at a 29% rate. And the other guys are at 31% each. Followed after James Bradberry is Jason McCourty and Janoris Jenkins, who just so happens to be the guy we let go of. But he's really good in keeping space with those guys, catching up to them, trying to make plays. He's not a big interception guy. His numbers will show you that, but you don't need that. And I said this about other cornerbacks also. You just need him to make plays, and that is something he can do. Another stat I would like to bring up is that obviously he played in the NFC South, which is home to some of the most, or some of the best wide receivers in the NFL. That being Julio Jones, Mike Evans, Michael Thomas. Julio and Thomas being probably the top 2 receivers in the NFL. And he's played with the best wide receivers and survived against them. Now he doesn't show out every time, but he puts up performances that will make you, definitely look his way. For example, last year, obviously he has 2 games each against these guys. In one game against Julio, he held him to 5 receptions for 64 yards. And in the second game, 4 receptions for 28 yards. Against Mike Evans in one game, 1 reception for 16 yards. And this is the Mike Evans last year that in that game that Daniel Jones won, tore us up for almost 200 yards in that game. In the second game, Bradberry held Evans to 4 receptions for 48 yards. Thomas, many consider him the best receiver in the NFL now. A great matchup with Drew Brees. Has the highest, he's the most efficient receiver in the NFL and has like the highest percentage for most, passes caught when thrown his way. This is what Bradberry did to Michael Thomas. 7 receptions for 49 yards and 5 receptions for 29 yards. Absolutely amazing when you look at the fact that he's just an average cornerback. He's just a good cornerback, and then now he's on the Giants. I believe he's going to be a good influence. Like I said, we needed that veteran presence. We needed somebody to help these young guys learn, to help a Sam Beal learn if he's still on the team. Definitely for a DeAndre Baker, for Julian Love, for Corey Ballantyne, whoever it is. I believe our starting lineup is going to be something like Baker, Love, and Bradberry if we move Love to slot corner, which I think we should. But if we keep Love at a free safety position, it's going to be Baker, Bradberry, and Beal probably. And I'm starting to lose hope a little bit on Sam Beal just because of his injury concerns, and whenever he's on the field he gets burned, which is another thing that I like to bring up. The Giants last year, and really in the past couple years, always get burned whenever the number 1 receivers move into the slot position, which is where Sam Beal plays. Well, here's the thing about James Bradberry. He follows the wide receiver, number 1 wide receivers, into the slot when he's in man coverage. So he keeps onto them. And that right there, seeing what he did against Julio, seeing what he did against Evans, seeing what he did against these top receivers, part of that was because he followed them into the slot, and we finally have a guy that would allow us to not get burned on every single play. We finally have somebody that could actually man up in man coverage and cover these guys. I believe the Giants are going to play a lot of man coverage next year. I think he's going to have good influence. I think he's going to help, the young guys learn, and I really like the deal. I would have liked for it to be a bit cheaper, but once again, putting it into context, the money is not that much when you consider what Byron Jones got paid, when you consider that he's the second best cornerback out there. And we'll see how he performs. I definitely have high hopes for him. We have a really good coaching staff, so good players and good coaching staffs, they should mix well. We'll see what happens. Currently, the Giants are still linked to Jadeveon Clowney, which has been going around all day. Corey Littleton is still out there. Just a few seconds ago, Calvin Noah got signed by the Dolphins, somebody I really wanted, so he's out the picture. But keep your eyes on a guy like Darrell Williams, another gentleman guy for our right tackle position. Maybe there's something there. That's it for now. I'm out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Put your comments down below. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Until next time, I'm out. Yeah.